fair. Okay, so we're gonna get it how we get it, but we're going to get right to it. I just got off the phone talking to a very close friend, good friend of mine, and of course, we were talking politics, and and we were talking about voting and how things are going to be and possibly be, just speculation. But tonight, I want to talk about voter fears, the propaganda, the stress behind it, and what you can certainly think about it. But we're going to dig a little bit deeper than that. Remember, this is 30 minutes of practical wisdom and common sense that I'm going to be giving to you. And I certainly hope that you enjoy it. How you doing, Chris? It's good to see you. And we are going to get right into it. Well, no, we're not, because I want you to thumbs up this video. I need you to like this video, comment on this video, share this video, share everything. www.ask.drYaYa.com is where you can submit your questions, your concerns, your love. I only accept marriage proposals on Tuesdays at 2, but I'm here for it. Okay, I'm ready. I'm here for it. So when we think about this, the voting process, and I know probably the majority of you have probably voted early, probably did some mail in, probably went or waiting for tomorrow. But however you do it, I'm sure most of you will get it done. Now, there are those of you who have decided that you're not going to vote, that you have no desire to vote, that voting is absolutely not for you. And that is certainly your choice as well. Hey, sis, how you doing? How you doing, money? That is your choice as well. But we're going to break down some things that I don't think we really consider when it's time to vote, when we have to make a decision. I understand that any decision that you make may give you a bit of anxiety. Why? Because you have a choice to make. And anytime you have to make a choice on your own without someone saying, okay, this is the best thing for you, and you accepting that and trusting in that, it will bring a bit of anxiety. And voting certainly causes anxiety. It will cause you to feel a certain way. So most of us, when we get a feeling that makes us uncomfortable, some of us will try and we will go and research something that we have to make a decision on in order to make the best decision. It's like buying a car. If you say, okay, I want to buy a car, and someone says, you know what, you ought to get a Toyota. Toyota is a good car. And you were thinking, well, maybe I want to get, a Subaru. And so what do? You do your research. There's a problem when it comes to voting, though. There's an issue. One of those issues is the fact that you may be voting because your great-great-grandparents voted a certain way. And so therefore you figure, why break tradition? I trust them and they possibly could be right. So I'm going to vote how they vote. But I'm here to tell you that you can't vote like that, because you will not vote what actually serves you. That is really a fear-based vote. If you vote just based on the fact that I come from a long line of Democrats, so I came from a long line of Republicans, and you vote like that, you will vote out your interests. I know y'all don't want to hear that, but I'm going to tell you the truth. There's something that's called fear-based campaigns. And understand this, that fear-based campaigns are created around citizens' insecurities and their fears. And sometimes they are subtle campaigns, and other times they're not so subtle. But understand that when you vote out of fear, it will cause you to vote against your best interests. Let's look at this voting year. 2020 has been a hell of a year, and I'm going to need some paperwork from 2021 before I sign up. I'm just saying, I'm going to need to read some terms and some damn conditions. I'm going to need to read some fine print before I agree to 2021. But listen, so we got 2020, and we have traumas that have happened. We had the pandemic, natural disasters, racial unrest, all of these things. And these have caused people to feel kind of uneasy. But when I tell you, it doesn't matter who you vote for, you cannot stop natural disasters. Racial unrest has been here since your great granddaddy kissed your great grandmammy in the mouth. Okay. You can't do anything about pandemic. So no matter who you get, understand that life happens and things are going to happen. But when there's a fear-based campaign that says, if you don't vote like this, then this is possibly going to happen, that causes a lot more anxiety for you. So now you're thinking, oh, wait, okay, oh, wait. Okay, my chest is hurting because, this person is going to stop the wildfires in California, and I don't like wildfires, and I live in California, so I got to vote. That's what fear-based campaigns do. They cause you to have a certain anxiety about something that you really don't need to have an anxiety about. Let's go back in history. Let's take this back, and I want to really connect this to what we already know to be true and what's coming around again. Okay. Let's talk about marijuana. Let's consider marijuana. And if we consider marijuana, we have to think about how marijuana got out of being legal, because you understand that marijuana was not always illegal in the United States, right? It was not always illegal because they had that inside of inside of a lot of tinctures or medicines that were available at the time, but it was called cannabis. I want y'all to get this now. The Americans knew about cannabis, but they did not know the term that the Mexican immigrants referred to it as marijuana. You see that? So now, after the Mexican Revolution, we have immigration. We have the Mexicans coming over and everything is going very, very well, right? So now the Mexicans are saying, man, the marijuana is good. This is good. This is a part of our culture. It's a part of custom. It's a part of what we do. And so now they're like, oh my goodness, this is an awesome thing. So what happens? They said, okay, now understand something about government. Government controls people by controlling their customs, and they are quite successful at it. You understand me? The government wants to control you. They're going to control you not only based on what you fear and what your insecurities are, but based on what you love to do. Hence are the Mexicans and this marijuana. Now, they had hearings on marijuana. Understand this. Now, in the 1930s, marijuana was just really, really prevalent. It was everywhere. People were smoking, getting high, having a nice time. It wasn't an issue. But here comes the Marijuana Tax Act of 1937. And what does that mean? It means just this. They were holding hearings on this marijuana law, and they claim that, guess what? Marijuana has the ability to cause men of color to become violent and solicit sex from white women. You see where I'm going with this? So now, based on the insecurities and fear of the people, oh my gosh, oh my goodness, you mean to tell me he's going to smoke marijuana and want Becky? Oh gosh, we can't do this. We have to vote against this stuff. But you are using cannabis in your medicine. They use cannabis in a tincture for arthritis, right? But oh no, that can't be the same. I mean, my cannabis doesn't have me coming out here wanting to deal with, white women. I mean, that's different from what these Mexicans want to do with this marijuana thing. They even call it a different name, for crying out loud. So, it's got to be a terrible thing. We just cannot have that. So we have a fear-based campaign that gets you to vote against your own interests. Nothing has changed, people. Not a damn thing has changed. When I tell you that you have to begin to move away from the propaganda and the fear and vote based on your own interests, what you want done for your family, your community, your city as a whole. And you cannot do that based on the fact that, okay, somebody may not like me because I'm voting my best. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to vote your own interests. You're supposed to vote based on, this is what I desire for my life moving forward. That does not always happen. Why? Because we have certain fears and insecurities that drive us to think a certain way. And that's what they're supposed to do. Hence the Marijuana Tax Act, right? Then they tax the marijuana. If we move forward, they tax the marijuana, but that's not enough, because come around to 1970, oh, wait a minute. Now we have Black men getting rich off of possibly selling this marijuana. They've hooked up with these Mexicans, okay? And they are selling some stuff, they're smoking, taking care of their family, they're trying to come up on this stuff. We got to totally make it illegal. If we can't, because we haven't been taxing it the way that it should have been taxed in the 1930s. So if we can't do it the way we want to do it, we will totally ban it. That's it. So we're going to ban it. It's banned. It's now illegal, which it was not before, but insert the fear that Becky may have sex with a man of color because of marijuana, and that's an issue. Fear-based campaigns, nothing new, quite strategic, and quite effective. That's what they do. Now, I'm getting to the hard part of this live stream. And the hard part of this live stream is telling you that your vote, or what you think is your vote, actually does not count. I know y'all don't want to hear that. I know we've heard the spiel that our ancestors fought and died and scrimped and everything for you to have the right to vote. I know, I get it. I certainly understand it. But if you know anything about the Electoral College, you will think differently about that whole thing. Again, let's take a history trip, shall we? We're just gonna walk down, this historical lane, if you will, right? Now, do you know why the Electoral College was created and established? Let's talk about it. The reason why the Electoral College was created and established was because it was a compromise. It was a compromise based on how we should elect our president. So they say, you know what? I think Congress should elect the president. And somebody said, no, because y'all white men are too damn corrupt. We're not doing it like that. Somebody stood up and said, look, no, we're not doing that. We just came from some type of corruption having a king. And if we let the Congress elect the president, y'all gonna be paying him, sticking money in his pockets. You're gonna be paying for this type stuff. So we're not going to do it like that. But I tell you what we should do. Okay? We should have an electoral college, a group selected, right, that will choose the president based on what the people possibly maybe could think. We'll ask the people, and then we'll make the decision for ourselves. So that was the compromise. So they're still electing, but they're pretending like they're listening to your voice. Because what you don't know, people who are elected to the Electoral College, or who are selected, who are voted in, who are chosen, if you will, you could say, you know what, I want to vote for YaYa. And YaYa could get 10 votes. And the person that looks at it in the Electoral College would say, okay, so YaYa has these 10 votes, but I don't think she would be appropriate for the job. Did y'all hear what I said? So they have a decision to make. They can either choose me or not choose me. They don't have to specifically say, because you like YaYa, that they have to choose YaYa. So again, these so-called founding fathers, that was the compromise. But the compromise is still not good, because either way, you can choose who you desire to choose. I think it's a good gig, because you can't be a part of the Electoral College if you are a congressman or if you hold a high position in office. you can't, if you've been tried or accused and convicted of treason against the U.S. or its territories, you can't hold that position. But anyone can hold that position if you are active in your party. If you are active in your party and you say, nominate me, and when they have their convention, their state convention, and you throw your hat in there and they vote for you. So anyone can do that. Anyone can do that. If you guys love politics like that, I implore you to try to get into the electoral college, okay? Because that's where all the power is held. So they thought this was a great idea. So this is a system born of compromise. And it's still going on today. So you say, well, YaYa, if our vote doesn't mean anything, then why are we continuing to vote? I'll tell you why. Because it's long established that this is your right. This is your right to do it. Even though we're going through the motions, you still have a right to vote. Whether it means something or not, it's your right to do that, and you exercise your right. But understand something. Don't get upset and lose your mind because people are not voting the way that you desire for them to vote, because ultimately it's up to the electoral college to make this decision. And they make these decisions 2 weeks after your vote has been cast, 2 or 3 weeks. And that's it. So when you begin to understand that, and when you begin to say, well, okay, well, I mean, that's the process. Are you a part of the process? Well, yeah, because historically you have to be. But does it really mean something? Not really, when you get right down to it. So, I hear a lot of talk that people want to do away with the electoral college. I certainly agree. I think the vote ought to be organic. I think the vote should be what it is, and fresh and new. But along with that, there may be some levels of corruption. I mean, the system is not perfect. We have to see it for what it is. Now, the issue that the Electoral College had, which is interesting for us today when we begin to talk about racial unrest, what Black people are owed in this country, how Black people are treated in this country, right? When this Electoral College was established, this is how we got the 3/5 compromise right here. This is how we got it, because they were saying, okay, now, what are we going to do about the slaves and counting the state's population? What are we going to do? Because, you have electoral candidates based on your population of your state, and according to how many people that state has in Congress. So now here we are, they were trying to figure out, what are we going to do with these enslaved Black folk who couldn't vote? And that's how we got to these 3/5 compromise. That was the result of that, because some of them were saying, listen, I don't think, since they're property, I don't think it's right. But when people do things, again, this goes back to do not vote against your own interests. When they were making this deal, the southern states were looking at the fact that if they count the slaves, we'll have more people in Congress to do our bidding. I need y'all to pay attention. Okay? And nothing has changed. You don't really see other folks running around tearing down each other because they're trying to figure out, what can I get for my community? They want, every time we look at, I don't know if you've ever seen on C-SPAN, Congress in session, you get these pork bellies. You get them standing up saying, okay, we need more money for this, or we need more money for our streets, and we need this, that, and the other. That is something that we have to learn to do. So now get back to this. This 3/5 compromise came as a result because they say, hey, the Southern states said you need to count the Black people. Now all of a sudden you went from property to wanting to be counted when it came to voting. So the compromise was every 3 slaves out of 5 was counted as a person. That's how we got the 3/5 compromise. So you see how even then they were considering themselves, saying we can get more done if we let you count our slaves as people for this electoral college thing where we get more representation. Okay. So if we let them be counted for the purpose of allocating representatives and electors and calculating federal taxes and money, right? Then whew, we got this thing. So that's where we got this compromise from. So considering that they used our ancestors for something, I think it's only fair. Y'all know where I'm going, right? I think it's only fair. You understand me? That we do the same. We have to absolutely do the same. Listen, if my vote is going to be for sale, I'm the one who places a price on it, not you, because you came in here with a fried chicken leg and because you ate a pork chop off of a truck, and not because you thought that I would be excited because you knew how to play a musical instrument or you knew how to play a sport. No, if my vote is going to be for sale, I am the one who is going to place the price on it. Our Constitution got that. How you doing, Rainey? Oh, I appreciate that, BMT Business Minded Talk. I appreciate that. Thank you. So we have to consider that, and we have to stop voting based on emotion. Let me tell you something. Everybody at your job doesn't like you, but you're not quitting your job. Why? Because you're there for a purpose. You're there for a reason, right? And so we have to move out of the way of this emotional type voting, and this voting based on fear. We have to learn to stand up and say, these are what my interests are. And if you're not going to do that, then you can't have my vote, point blank, period. And we have to do that starting on the local level. We have to do that. That's where it's most important. You just can't ride around on the back of a pickup truck and hand out lollipops and think it's going to be okay. They like the red gummy bears. Oh, over here, they love those Jolly Ranchers, and you just give them. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I think we are becoming a people we're becoming a people who have a desire to be more politically mature. That hot sauce no longer works for us. Attaboys no longer work for us. They shouldn't. You tap dancing, on powder no longer works for us. Because you showed us with this whole voting thing how you used us to get what you want. You used us. We would not have even been considered 3/5 of anything had you not wanted federal money, had you not wanted for the purpose of representation. So we have every right to say, listen, if that's how you feel, then this is what we're going to do. And so you very well don't want to sit back and say, well, because I the lesser of two evils, I'm going to vote. No, I'm going to vote my interest. That's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to vote my interests. Everyone else does. We should be the same way. We should be the same way. We should say, this is how I'm voting. Most people won't even show up to a council meeting. Most people won't even show up. Hell, some people got kids in school and won't show up to a parent-teacher conference. But that's, you know what? I digress. I'm gonna move back off of that. Okay, I'm gonna move back. But fear, propaganda, all of these things cause us to be stressed out. You cannot make a sound decision being stressed. Okay, Monica? You cannot make a sound decision being stressed. You have to look at everything. And again, don't sell your vote for chicken leg. Don't sell your vote for hot sauce. None of that. No. It has to be something that is tangible. It has to be something that says, listen, this is what I'm looking for. And I think we really should start at the local level. We really should. There's no reason to have a pothole in the front of your house for a year and a half. There's no reason for that. There's no reason why, our streets can't be clean. No reason for that. I remember living in an area in California, and they were talking about putting a super Walmart up. When I tell you those white people came together and said, oh, not here. Oh, no, we're not. Oh, no. Oh, we can't do that. They knocked on my door and said, oh, can you believe they want to put up, oh my goodness, doctor, they want to put a Walmart in our area. We can't have that. And I said, okay, I'll sign the petition, Susie. Okay. Hey, no problem. She was adamant. And plus, I liked her chutney she would bring every Christmas, but that's beside the point. They weren't having it. We're not doing that at all. The following year, they wanted to put up an apartment complex. I got a knock on the door again. Oh, no, they want to put up apartments. This is not what we do. We don't do that, do we, doctor? I said, certainly not. That's not what we do. So I sign it again. I'm showing up at the meeting. These people fight. You fight for what you want. And it's not based on fears. It's that I don't want it in my neighborhood. I don't want it around here. I want this fixed. Period. If you vote for people, that is your representation. You have to keep in mind, this is your representation. The one who speaks for you, the one you say, I trust you to get what I need for my community. And so every time Susie would come over, I knew it was an issue because Susie didn't bother me, except on the holidays with her chutney. But if she was knocking on the door, I knew you got to come to this meeting. Oh yeah, this has to be done. I mean, a super Walmart, no less. Can you believe that? I was like, I certainly can't. There was no Walmart there. There was no apartment building coming because they were not playing. Now, how would they know about the apartment building and the Walmart? They went to the city council meetings. That's what they did. They got the information. When they said, okay, there's going to be a 1% water tax increase on the water, they were like, oh, I know the hell not. No, not today. I'm not paying any more for this water than what I've been. No, they are not playing, and neither should we. Neither should we. I'm so serious, monetary. Let me tell you what my family did when I was growing up. My family allotted one person who would always go to those city meetings. One person would always go. I don't know whether it was my aunt or my uncle, but one person would always go, and they would always bring the information back to my grandparents and, everyone else. And if you don't have time to make a meeting, allot someone in your family and say, okay, you go to this meeting this month. Because I think they have city council meetings twice a month or once a month, and say, you go to this meeting this month, and I'm going to take it the next meeting, and I'm going to make a plan to know what's going on in your neighborhood. That way, when you get your bill and you see that it's high, you're not calling the water company saying, this bill is too high, I don't know what's going on. And they're telling you, no, it's not. Because that new meter we put in, they already voted that we could charge y'all for it. See, you didn't know that. So now you mad and you ready to choke out the customer service person, when you could have went to the meeting and said, oh, hell no, I'm not paying for this. We pay enough. So that is a plan. That is a plan. Again, this has been 30 minutes of practical wisdom and common sense. It's Ask Dr. YaYa. Remember, you are loved, you are valued, and you are appreciated. Don't forget to like me on all of my social media as Ask Dr. YaYa on Facebook, and that's subscribe to Dr. YaYa on YouTube. I would certainly appreciate it. I love you guys, and I'll see you on my next episode. Bye now.